Welcome to the What's Up Castleberry podcast. We are thrilled that you have joined us for episode 170. That is more fingers and toes than we have around this table.
Yeah.
There are 5 of us here now, right? 20.
Yep.
We're not.
It's 100.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anybody missing any fingers or toes? Speak
I have
now
an extra.
Yeah.
an extra. Okay.
Okay, weirdo. We are joined by a very special guest who is wondering why he's here, especially now that he's found out that Aaliyah has an extra digit. But let's welcome Mr. Eric Bartell.
Well, thank you.
We are delighted that you are here today.
Woo. I'm also delighted to be here with only 20 digits.
Yes. So Eric is going to be our special guest who we are going to interview and glean from his wisdom. And he's also going to join us in the studio as we walk through the top of the show. So let's just kind of share who's around the table. We've got the lovely Miss Aaliyah.
Hi.
We've got the very handsome and recently expanded family man,
Yep.
Mr. Carlos Pereira, and expanded because you've welcomed 2 children to your home, not because you've had too many late night snacks.
No, well, both. Yeah, both.
We have the lovely Miss Robin Kepi,
Hello.
who is going to be editing out all our mistakes.
You don't make mistakes.
Well, thank you.
You're
And of course,
perfect.
we have Mr. Eric Bartell. So we are in February. February is the month of love. Carlos, could you describe Robin's cardigan sweater that she is wearing, please?
Yes, for our listeners at home, Robin is wearing a cardigan that is both red and pink, checkered pattern. The dark red boxes have light pink
goodness,
hearts.
look at that.
The light pink boxes have dark red hearts.
Yeah.
The buttons are pink hearts.
Yes.
And she has red heart sunglasses
Yes.
that match her red heart lipstick.
Well, that was a very vivid description. And as you were saying that, I'm just grateful they don't come in my size. Oh, that was
The sunglasses? Oh, they do.
No, the lipstick doesn't come in my shade, I think was what I meant to say. All right, but Valentine's Day is here. Robin is dressed up appropriately for it. Let's start with our icebreaker question. What is the most outrageous Valentine's Day gesture that you have ever participated in, either as a giver or a receiver?
I can start this one out. For our first Valentine's Day when we were dating, I took June to Kennedy Space Center.
Did you tell her she was out of this world?
Yes, obviously. And I told her
The relationship
that
obviously took off because she's your wife now.
it was a great way to launch our relationship for sure.
Over the moon.
She's over the moon.
Yeah. So we went to Kennedy Space Center and I paid for the lunch with an astronaut
Oh,
experience.
that's a move.
And then, because it was mostly for me, and we sat down at this table. And if you've ever done the lunch with an astronaut experience, you're in a kind of a cafeteria style seating hall arrangement. You're at different tables and everybody's sitting down. And then the astronaut goes up and speaks to the audience. But before that, he's having lunch with you. I didn't realize that the guy who was very charismatic and talking to us the entire time that we were having lunch, who he was asking all of us questions and we were having fun talking. I was like, this is a great conversation. And then he gets up and he starts talking from the podium and he was the astronaut. So yeah, I think that was probably the most outrageous Valentine's Day shenanigans I've been involved in.
Very good. Very good. Very good. Any more astronaut puns, anyone? No, we'll move on. Okay,
Yeah.
who wants to go next? Most outrageous Valentine's Day gesture.
we don't do anything too crazy, but I can tell you what I'm doing this year.
Oh, is this a
So-
secret?
No,
Oh,
we've discussed.
This airs afterwards, so it's okay.
Yeah. So we're making sushi at home.
oh.
So
Okay.
How long are you going to cook it for?
Anyway, so we got like a whole kit and everything. We love sushi. We went to a sushi making class last year, so we've just been neglecting like trying to do it at home. So I don't know, just a wholesome like night in doing. Yeah, I mean we love sushi, so
Yeah.
yeah.
That sounds like a very nice night. Sorry. Sorry, we're just trying to seaweed out all the bad jokes.
This is really
Seaweed
good.
out the bad jokes. Gosh, we should script this.
It'd be better if we
Would not be nearly as fun.
Eric, what you got? How long have you guys been married?
This year will be our 42nd year.
Wow.
We've been
Wow,
together and
congrats.
married. We have 2 amazing daughters, both grown and gone out of the state. I don't know if we've done anything outrageous. We spent the first part of our marriage being, broke, like most couples. So Valentine's Day was a lot of heart candies that looked much like Robin's sweater, only smaller. This year, we're doing, I ordered a home, let me define this properly. It's a home painting kit. We're not painting the house. It's 2 easels, 2 canvases, and instructions on how to make, I can't pronounce this word. Is it a dice art painting?
Oh.
There's a painting where you each
do a half.
You each have half the canvas, and when you frame them together. And we also have a link to a video of an artist who walks you through the process and helps you paint these.
That's so fun.
So it's really cool. They come a little tiny, for those of you at home, I'm using my hands, little tiny easel that's about 2.5 feet high, and you put your canvas on there, and each of us paints our half. And then when it's all done, if it looks anything like it's supposed to look, you frame it and hang it in the house. So that's our plan for this Valentine's Day.
That is very sweet.
Look, I'm surrounded by romantic people.
Yeah.
I haven't even thought about it yet. I was going to run by Walgreens and get one of those little heart-shaped candy things with 5 minutes. Well, steal half of them before.
We'll make sure you get a lot of the little red ones. Because after they banned the red dye recently, that those were part of that list. So you won't be able.
Effect till 2027.
Oh, okay, so we have plenty of years to load up on.
That explains a
40.
lot.
And I'm thinking brown Valentine hearts are probably just not as romantic.
No, they don't
Is it
sell
all
as
the
well.
E-numbers in that red stuff? What's the deal with that?
I don't know what it is.
Additives. Did you read the article today about Girl Scout cookies having an additive?
I opened
that-
it and tried to.
Makes sense.
I just closed it.
That-
'cause I'm
that
like, I
can
can't
cause
know
autism.
that.
Oh, I thought addictive.
No, what's the word I'm looking for?
Additive.
Additive?
Yeah.
Metals in it or something.
Yeah, something like that. And honestly, last night, our little family down 2 boxes of the suckers, and I'm like, yeah, I get that. I think for me, my first Valentine's memory was when I was 14, and I didn't want to be on my own on Valentine's Day. And so I asked this girl out, and she kind of ummed and ahed way too long. But she sent me a note.
But now y'all have been married for how long? So
Tracy and I are 25 years this year, and I'm sure there are some days when she's probably umming and ahhing still. But she sent me a note, and it arrived on Valentine's Day, and it said, it was very poetic. It was very kind of 4 weddings and a funeral kind of esque. And the poem was called "I'm Willing to Take the Risk." And beautiful poem about risk. And then I'm like, why do you think that dating me would be a risk? And that was my first memory of Valentine's Day.
Did it work out?
No, I married someone else.
Well, there's the risks.
Yeah. Her loss, though, right?
yeah. Well, I mean, you were a flight risk. You eventually left. And
That's
came
right.
to the
Well,
US.
actually, I tell that story to Tracy, and this girl's name was Carolyn Toogood, Toogood, and I've never realized it. Tracy thinks that it's hilarious that this girl was too good for me.
Robin, if you could make a note to bleep that part of the podcast where he discloses the full name of this individual.
No, she's over 4,000 miles away, and you know our audience in England only consists of my dad, so...
Okay, well, then we're good.
We should be okay.
Maybe your dad's gonna seek revenge.
No, I think it's pretty safe. All right, let's move on to Castleberry in the news. The update, some exciting things, different things that have been happening in our city. We have 3 stories today. The first is one that was actually filmed right here in this room where we're recording from, if you watch the video. The Castleberry Police Department have recently purchased some restraining devices. And the way these things work is that if they are arresting someone who's intoxicated or violent or overly aggressive, they know how to kind of cuff them. But these restraining devices actually kind of wrap around their legs and their knees so that they can't kick and run and things like that. And looked like a really simple solution to what I guess is a significant problem. So they cuff them, they kind of wrestle them to the ground. I saw this on the training video, filmed right here in this room. In fact, Carlos, we could act that
Recreate
now
it
if
here.
you wanted. You could be the bad guy. Eric and I will take you down,
Let's do it.
and we'll use Robin's Valentine's Day
Ow.
cardigan.
Andy, no, that hurts. Andy, listeners at home, Andy has me in a headlock. Andy, I can't breathe.
That's like that scene from The Office. Jim Carrey just walked in here.
Yeah. So who knew that the solution to this would be to just swaddle an adult human?
Yes.
Yes, so swaddling works for a baby and for an adult human.
It's called the burrito.
Yeah, the burrito.
That's right. Yeah, it is called a burrito, actually. Do you want to talk about that anymore?
I don't know. No, that was just a lucky guess.
No, did you get my taco joke? Do you want to talk
taco.
Gosh, when you got to explain them.
There's going to be a lot of editing in this podcast.
It's not worth it. But anyway, I thought that was fascinating. So, I mean, if you get arrested in Castleberry, and please don't act violently, that you have to be put in one of these restraints. But I think anything that we can do to protect our citizens and law enforcement is a good deal. Any comments about that?
Nacho comment here. No.
Okay, this is serious breaking news rather than you're telling puns. All right, our second article of news. Recently in the city, and I love this because it shows a little bit of how our local city is gaining an international flavor. There was a celebration of Serbian poetry and prose a couple of weeks ago at the new art center. There is a large Serbian community around here of writers who read their poetry and prose. And we actually have a statue in Lake Concord Park behind City Hall. It was donated from Serbia. So part of the reading is going to be around that as well. Did anyone go to that? I know I couldn't, but any thoughts, comments about that?
I was not able to attend.
Not able to attend, but pretty cool. I know I live outside of Castleberry, even though I spend most of my time in Castleberry. And pretty close to my house, there's Serb Fest. So I'm sure that's similar organization, maybe. So I think that's cool that it's heading into Castleberry as well. And I didn't know about the statue either.
Yes, lots of great art. If you ever wander around, you can read the inscriptions. I think there's some from several places around the world as well. A little local community has some global influence there. So that was your Castleberry in the news. Lots happening. Take advantage of what's going on and stay connected in our community. All right, now, are we ready to move to the dad joke of the week section? All right, let's get going. We have a very experienced dad around the table. Eric, how many years have you been a dad?
35 years this year.
35 years. 35 years. I think you and I are the only people over 35 around this table.
Most likely, yes. It looks that way.
I'm getting there. I'm 3 years away.
Are you? Oh no, Robin's in a four. No, sorry, just kidding. Just kidding. All right, so who wants to go first on our dad
What
joke?
have I done to you today?
Robin, I just, it's my love language. You know that. All right. Who wants to go first? Dad jokes of the week. What do we got?
I'm going to do a pickup line since we're...
Valentine's theme.
Yes.
Nice.
Okay.
Nice.
So, your eyes are like IKEA. I could get lost in them for hours. That's all for me.
Very good. Very good. Very good.
Like it. So I saw this today when I was taking my kids to the pediatrician's office. So I can't take credit for this joke. It was posted on the wall. What do all virus jokes have in common?
No.
They're catchy.
Catchy. Very good.
I got one more for you. So I was thinking this weekend that I normally prefer the brand name of stuff. Like if it's a window cleaner, I want Windex.
Yeah.
I just think it's usually better. Except when it comes to bug spray, then I prefer the off-brand.
That's good. That's good. Well, I mean, I want to kind of lean into some of the Valentine's Day conversation we had. Leah and Nick are going to, make sushi on Valentine's Day. So some kind of fish jokes. Did you know that oysters don't donate to charity? Isn't that sad? You know why?
Why?
Because they're too shellfish.
Nice. Nice.
And Carlos, you were telling us about your trip to NASA, and that reminds me of a book I was reading about anti-gravity the other day. It was just so good I couldn't put it down.
Nice.
And Robin, what do you call cheese that isn't yours? You should know this one. I'll tee you up this one. What do you call cheese that isn't yours?
Nacho cheese.
There we go.
Nice.
There we go. Eric, do you have any contributions to this?
Not Valentine
section?
related, but I was thinking about this earlier today, and I remember the very first joke my grandfather told me, and I must have been about 4 years old. So probably the first joke I understood, not the first one he told me. And he said to me one day, he said, "Son, why do Indians sleep in teepees?" And I said, "I have no idea. To keep their wigwam."
Keep that wigwam.
See, a wigwam is another name
Yeah,
for
I
a
know.
teepee.
Okay.
See.
I was lost.
My kids had that same look when I told them that joke, so apparently it's dated. I'm gonna just file that one away.
You know, you should tell. You know, you just became a grandfather,
I did, yes.
and I think you should tell your grandchildren
Sophia
that joke.
needs to hear that joke?
Yeah, she does, and in that way, it will have spanned 5 generations.
Yes, it will.
Yeah, maybe one generation will.
I
Find
might
it
have to tell
funny.
that joke with pictures, though, 'cause nobody seems to know what a wigwam is. So.
I do. I knew what a wigwam was before I knew what a teepee. Anyway,
We digress.
that's another podcast,
digress.
isn't it? That's another podcast. All right, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for pretending to laugh at those jokes. Thank you to our contributors. Okay, let's take a moment. We'll take a break. We'll have a word from our sponsor, and we'll be right back with our special guest.
Church Together connects people together with Christ in community and for our city. Join us for worship at 200 North Triplet Lake Drive in Castleberry, Sundays at 10 a.m. For more information, visit us at ourchurchtogether.com.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to our favorite part of the show where we turn the spotlight on someone who is making some waves, doing some significant work in our community. I am thrilled today that we have a gentleman on the show who has been a friend of mine for several years now. We will have to try and remember where we first met, Eric.
Yeah.
Do you remember that?
I think it was probably at a Christian Help dinner
think
or
it
lunch.
was.
I think we were
That's right.
invited there, and that's how you and I first met, through your wife, Tracy.
That is just the kind of guy that he is. He shows up at charity functions and meets people.
Well, there was food, so.
Okay, that kind of touched things a little bit. All right, well, I don't know if we need to do any icebreaker questions because you've been with us the whole show, and if we haven't broken the ice by now, it's really not going to crack, is it? But just to kind of throw a couple of softball questions at you, Eric, if your life were a movie, what would the film be called, and what actor would you want to play you?
I had to really put some thought into this because I, first off, never thought about my life being a movie. But if I did, if it was a movie, it would be called Were We Supposed to Have a Plan? And it would star Owen Wilson, because he's just this affable guy who goes through life and everything at the end seems to work out, but he's never really got a plan. And I had this conversation with my sister a few weeks ago about how I literally did not have a plan for my life, and everything that worked out just worked out in such a marvelous way. But I never sat down at the age of 13 and said, I want to have a career in the printing business for 40 years. That was not a goal I set for myself, but yet that's kind of how life worked out. So it would be called, Were We Supposed to Have a Plan?
That's good. And I do like the Owen Wilson reference.
Yeah,
he is
absolutely.
a very affable guy.
He is.
In fact, that's probably his primary selling point, his affability.
That's probably on his business card.
Mr. Affability.
Mister, yes.
So, Eric, what's your favorite place to eat in the Castleberry community, apart from Christian Help charity events where there's food available?
Well, that's going to be tough to beat. So I thought about this question in lieu of Fern Park, because our church is located in Fern Park, and I came up with just a really sad answer in that my favorite restaurants are closing. I really miss Poblano's Mexican restaurant, was one of my faves.
There's a new one opening over on Aloma in Winter Springs. It's already opened.
Poblano's?
Yes.
The one that took the V's Diner I saw.
Oh yeah, Poblanos as well.
Nice.
Yes.
Well, suddenly I am no longer sad. This
And you have found the purpose and the plan for your life.
See, I didn't have a plan, but now this plan unfolds. Where is Owen Wilson?
There you go.
So I also, though, if I stick in the Fern Park area, because that's where our church is, I do like New York pizza in the Winn-Dixie Shopping Plaza. And I also really like Groton Dog is this little tucked away spot that no one knows about on 436 and Ronald Reagan.
Right by the train tracks.
They have the best hamburgers in Orlando. Seriously, hands down. They do.
Really?
So yeah, it's literally this little
Groton
shop.
Dog?
It's behind a gas station. Half of it's a pizzeria. Half of it's the hamburger hot dog shop. The other half is like a tattoo parlor. So I'm really scared when I go order stuff, wondering if things have maybe been commingled. The walls are really thin, and they're only half walls, so I get a little concerned. But the burgers there are fantastic.
I'm going to try that.
The human flesh from the tattoo.
That's what I'm thinking. What is this bacon? This bacon says Amy.
Well,
Who is Amy?
And the hot dogs have these tribal patterns in black ink on
They
them.
do. I'm like, wait a minute. This bacon looks familiar.
I'm
I'm gonna have to try that.
Yeah.
Nope.
Oh, Groton Dog, very good.
Groton Dog.
All right, so Eric, you pastor a church in Fern Park called the Storehouse and have led there for several years. So how'd you end up in that area?
That is an interesting story. I'll keep it to the 30-second. No, I won't. I'll keep it to the short version. My wife and I have been involved in ministry for about 40 years. We actually had started in ministry before we got married. I was a youth pastor over in St. Petersburg, Florida. And we have been involved in various churches in our denomination since about 1982, so about 40 some odd years. We moved to Orlando in 92. And it was a career move. The printing company I worked for moved me here to establish a sales office. So we stayed within our denomination in the Central Florida area, always as associate pastors. But I've also been a worship leader, been on worship teams, been on church councils, but always as a role as an associate or an assistant pastor. When the Storehouse became interesting, we had left our previous church in December of 2014, and we were going to take a 6-month sabbatical. The plan was, actually I had a plan for this. Wait till you hear how this worked out. The plan was we would take 6 months off, and then we were going to go to the Carolinas and be installed into a church in the Carolinas. We left in January 1st. February 3rd or 4th, our supervisor lost his job, so my plan went out the window. This is why I don't make plans, by the way. That plan just completely vanished. So here we are now, we're homeless. We've resigned our position. We don't have a church, and we knew we were going to take 6 months. So we took 6 months, and we looked at other churches because I've been in ministry so long, I wanted to go see how other people did church. How do they take offering? How do they do communion? And we get a call one day from the pastor in the Storehouse, and he wants to take some time off, and he's taking a 6-week break because he's going through some issues and he wants to take some time off. So they ask us if we'll come in and take the church, which we do for 6 weeks. And I asked my wife, who is deeply, deeply spiritual, much more than me, and I said, so what are we going to do if the pastor doesn't come back and they ask us to take the church? My answer I expected was, well, we're going to fast and pray and really seek the Lord. What I heard was, within about 4.7 seconds, is, well, dude, we're going to take it. My wife calls me dude.
Okay.
Nice.
And I said, well, why is that? It's 6 months to the date. Like our first service there was Father's Day of 2015. So we took the church. We were installed in October of 2015. So this past October, we're starting our 10th year at the Storehouse.
Congrats.
That's a cool story.
It is a pretty cool story.
That's a cool story. Now, do you call Dorothea a dudette?
I do not.
Okay.
No. I have a lot of words for it, but dudette isn't one. No.
All right, so you've been in the community 10 years. What do you love about living in this Castleberry, Fern Park, Seminole County area? What kind of grabs you? Now, I know you don't live too close, but you work here. You spend a lot of time here.
I do.
What do you love
so
about it?
I live in Winter Garden, which is actually 20 miles door to door to the church, from my house to the church. But we do spend a lot of time here in Fern Park, Castleberry. Several things I've really fallen in love with. Number one, I love that it's still a small community feel to it. I'm not a big city guy. Like, I don't go to downtown Orlando. I've been to New York a couple of times because someone forced me. And I did see a couple plays on Broadway. I loved it, but I couldn't wait to. I'm not a city guy. So I like the community feel in Castleberry and Fern Park area. I like the neighborhood feel. We know our neighbors at the church. We have some businesses across the street. I'm really good friends with the guys who have businesses across the street from the church. And I like the community feel to it. I just think it's got not quite Mayberry, but it still has a really small town community feel to it.
Love that.
I also like the fact that one of the things we've been able to do at the Storehouse with our relationship with other pastors and other civic leaders is get involved in the community with opportunities. We love things like Neighbor to Neighbor. We like to participate in Funtoberfest. We're looking forward to the Easter gathering that's coming up. We like to be in the community. One of the things about the Storehouse is we don't want the church to just be sitting in the walls of the church. Really, the opportunities happen once we leave on a Sunday morning. I look at Sunday morning as the filling state or as the huddle, like a football huddle. That's where you come in, you get the plan, and when the plan is executed, we all slap ourselves and go out and execute the plan.
Says the man who doesn't believe in a plan.
Yeah.
Well, yes, right. So I don't make the plan.
Yeah. So as you alluded to earlier in our conversation, Castleberry and Fern Park are distinct areas. Where do you draw the line? Like where do you think it changes from one to the other, and what can you tell us about the Fern Park community that makes it distinct?
That's a great question. And to me, someone said, well, where's Fern Park? Is it near Castleberry? Well, we're kind of the stepchild of Castleberry. I kind of it's like we're step siblings, we got adopted together. And I was reading some history about Fern Park earlier, and what a history there is. If you Google Fern Park Castleberry border, the first articles that pop up, and I'm not making this up, it's the war on 1792. That's what pops up. And did you know that? I mean, this is incredible.
Not the war of 1792.
No, on 1792.
On 1792,
and it all had to do with ferns. I mean, fern growers and orange growers, and it just became this big division, and it was really complicated. I guess I look at Fern Park as the community I'm involved in. Anything south of 436, west as far as Ronald Reagan, east as far as 436, we're at Dog Legs to the south, and south to about where the 414 overpass comes out by the park, by Maryland Park. That's kind of what I consider the Fern Park community. But I also have a lot of activity going on in Castleberry as well through Andy and some other networks and contacts that we're involved in.
And I think those ferns, I think there's a little Castleberry trivia or Fern Park trivia. Those ferns were actually used during World War II to make parachutes. And so our little community, I don't think it was known as Castleberry at the time, made a big contribution to the Americans in World War II because a lot of the parachutes were made of ferns from this area.
Wow. I had no idea.
I can't see ferns being used as an effective parachute.
Well, I mean,
they process it first.
That's right. It's not like you're just holding them flat. No, but you do have to stretch your imagination a little bit.
So it's kind of like hemp. They probably processed it.
Yeah.
Okay.
I would assume. I don't know.
I opened my backpack. All 15 ferns came out, and I still hit the ground. I don't understand what happened here.
Guaranteed to help you hit
Pull
the ground.
emergency fern.
Well, here's the thing. We didn't say who they were supplied to. They were supplied to enemy soldiers.
They were the number one parachute in Vietnam.
So enough about ferns. Your church has started a new program with Care Portal. Tell us about that program, who it helps, and how it works.
Well, we are super excited. We just launched this 2 Sundays ago, and when I got involved with Dexter Sanders, who brought the opportunity to us, we spent some time talking about it, and it was an instant fit for us. Our mission at the Storehouse is connecting people with God's provision. So when Dexter came out to do it, we did a full-blown presentation. This wasn't just an announcement. This was the full-blown Sunday morning service, and his first slide up there says, impact or difference happens through connection. And I thought it's hand in glove for the Storehouse, because our mission is to connect people with God's provision, which is horizontal and vertical. And horizontally, we want to connect people with God's provisions through our networks like Christian Help and others. So Dexter came out and presented Care Portal. What we love about it is this. Care Portal is just what it said. It's this connecting point between the immediate needs in the community and churches and civic organizations that can jump in and help. So we drafted a 10-mile radius from the Storehouse. We log onto the Care Portal 3 or 4 times a week. And what it does is it gives us vetted, legitimate needs of families in the community that need help. If help doesn't step in, they could potentially lose the children in their house, and those children would be ushered into the foster care system. So we believe that children ought to be with their biological parents as much as we can make that happen. So, for instance, we looked at one last week where they needed, I think it was a several diapers, and maybe a mattress. So we clicked on that we would do that. What a wonderful way to go meet the family in the community. We send out couples. Our response teams are always a couple. They deliver the goods, they meet them, they establish a relationship, and then we follow up several weeks later to continue that relationship. What I really love about Care Portal, it's in 37 states in the United States, and Florida is the only state where the governor saw the beauty of this program and expanded it to include disabled veterans and senior citizens that are really kind of teetering on the line of poverty. So it's one of the great things about the Storehouse is we love to get our fingers in the community and make our presence known so that we can point people to Christ. And Care Portal is the perfect tool to do that. It's putting us right in direct contact where the needs are.
It's amazing that how easy it is to help families.
Yeah.
And Care Portal helps with that. But if a child is taken out of their family and goes into the foster care system, the whole trajectory of those kids' lives is forever altered.
Right.
Yes.
And it does all kinds of damage sometimes to kids. But sometimes just a mattress or a bed or some diapers is enough to keep the family in the home.
It's the simple things. We had a request for a baby gate. A single mom was living in a 2-story apartment and needed a baby gate because the baby was starting to crawl and the bedrooms were upstairs. Little things like a pack and play. So things that we all kind of take for granted sometimes raising kids are the simple things they don't really have.
But if there's not that gate and the baby falls, then
they're removed from the home.
yeah.
And the statistics of children in foster care who have children and those children ending up in foster care are about 80%. It's very, very high.
Is it really?
And the trafficking, the number of kids born into foster care who, because once they're 18, they're done, right? They're fostered out. The statistics for kids who go into human trafficking and kids who end up incarcerated because they went through the foster care system without being adopted out, the statistics are staggering. So our goal is to be part of a solution to keep kids at home with their biological parents.
Yeah. I love that.
Yeah, I think it's a great program because, you can say, I want to help, but it's so difficult to figure out where do I step in and help, because even if you drive around your community for a whole day, there's no way for you to see inside each home and apartment what's going on.
Right.
Versus this system lets you say, okay, here's a need that's been identified by, a caseworker, a social worker, a therapist, someone who's able to identify that need, and then we can step in. And like Andy said, it's a lot of it can be to us, quote unquote, easy because as a church body, there may be 40 of us involved in Care Portal, and okay, what's a couple bucks between all of us to get a mattress,
right,
and have someone with the pickup truck deliver it. But for a family that's living paycheck to paycheck, that's a lot.
Yeah.
A lot bigger of an ask to order it, pay a delivery fee, or borrow a pickup truck to drop it off, all the logistics that go into it. So,
and these are somewhat invisible problems. I mean, these are families whose neighbors may not even know they're going through it because nobody wants to just openly admit I'm really struggling.
Exactly.
So these are invisible problems. And one of the statistics that they show is the number, and they were working on just the families. Well, then they added the vets, the disabled vets and the senior citizens. When they showed the number of people that fit criteria for help within the Orange, Seminole, and Osceola County, the number was staggering. But the number of churches and civic organizations outpaced that number by like 4 to 1. So people can look at that number and say, well, why aren't the churches getting involved? It's not that the churches aren't getting involved. It's that the churches don't know where the need is. So this is the perfect tool to identify a legitimate, vetted need that the churches can reach out and get involved in.
Yeah. And the economic impact is significant too, right? So for every kind of $200 that you spend to keep a family together, the return on that is sometimes thousands of dollars.
Sure.
By keeping a kid out of the foster care and the whole process behind that. So amazing project and making a big difference in our community. And I suspect that as you continue it, it will make an even bigger difference. And I'm really excited. There are several churches in our community who do it now, and just the collective impact of that.
While I was away this weekend, we got our first opportunity to actually send a response team out, and they came back with just this glowing testimony of this experience and how well it went and how receptive the family was. So we're actually going to have them come up and do a testimony on Sunday morning.
I love it.
Because I think it's important for us also that the church is aware of these stories and that they get excited as we're excited and they see the successes as they happen.
I love it. Love what's happening in Care Portal. Okay, Eric, our time is coming to a close. A couple of last questions. If you had a megaphone to the people of Castleberry and were able to give them one piece of advice, what would you want them to know?
I would shout and encourage them to stay connected as a community. I like to say this, stay connected in 3D.
Okay.
Facebook and FaceTime and Zoom calls just burned us all out, and we lost something through that time. And there's something about connecting in 3D. Ironically, that message would not be heard by everybody with earbuds in their ears. But I think the message I would say is let's look out for our neighbors. Let's be aware of what's going on, and let's talk to each other in person and face to face.
Yeah. Tell us how people can find out more about you, more about Storehouse.
Well, I don't want them to find out much about me. I'm actually in the witness protection program, which is why my face is fuzzied out during this broadcast. What they can find out about the Storehouse, though, we have a website. It's thestorehouse.church. Super easy to find. It's thestorehouse.church. We've got a great introduction video on there. It's a super good webpage where you can look up our events. You can look up sermons. You can look up. There's a prayer wall. If you have prayer requests, please put your prayer requests on there. We'll gather around that. We'll pray with you. But the easiest way to do that is the storehouse.church, or they can come by in person. We're located at 131 O'Brien Road in Fern Park, Florida. We are conveniently nestled right behind the 7-Eleven on 1792 and O'Brien Road.
Eric Bartell, thank you so much for being with us today.
Oh, it's been a sheer pleasure. Thank you, guys.
But beyond that, thank you for all that you do to serve and support. And as we've talked about, care for our community. Our community is a better place because you and the Storehouse are a part of it.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Eric. And now let's conclude this week's podcast with some inspirational thoughts.
This episode's inspirational moment comes from Maya Angelou. Do the best you can until you know better. Then, when you know better, do better. I'll repeat it. Do the best you can until you know better. Then, when you know better, do better. I think as Pastor Eric would say, let's not have a plan. And then once we figure out that plan, we can follow that plan.
Well said.
Yeah, thank you. And listener, we hope that you can continue to do better. Until next time.
That's a challenge for all of us.
You're going to have to do it.
Thank you, Carlos. And thank you, listener, for listening to another episode of the What's Up Castleberry podcast. This podcast is hosted by Andy Searles, Alia Ray, and Carlos Pereiro, and produced by Robin Kepi, with special guest Pastor Eric. For more information, please visit us at whatsupcastleberry.com. And until next time, have a great week.